screw it, I'm talking for this one. The first day of the update has been quite a struggle. Pretty much me walking around and dying all day. Of course, there you saw a bird. You usually know what that means. Usually there's a group in the area, and of course they're looking directly at me and hovering above me as well. And there's the Sarah, there's the Aloe. The Sarah is pretty much there to keep me moving, to use more stamina, and the Aloe is there to pretty much try and keep me still and avoid extending the bleed. Along with also still being the main source of damage. Obviously, using your environment such as these little obstacles, you know, they can only do so much, but they are still very helpful in terms of trying to get good trades. And when we're talking about trades, this Aloe seems pretty dead set on just trading their health for my health, even though I do way more damage to them per hit. They don't really seem to be trying to, like, avoid damage very often. Instead, their goal seems to be more just deal damage and then heal. Because if I try to crouch walk, the Sarah will instantly start charging up a bite, and, well, you see how much damage that does to me. It does a lot of damage. Especially when I've got 2 aloes to try and kill as well. They are quite low, but they do have control of the water right over there. You know, the healing water that I really hate. In hindsight, if I really hate the healing water so much, I could have always gone through Burnt Forest up to Hunter's Thicket, because that's where I wanted to go. And as we all know, divided attention is the greatest weapon in the game. In other words, numbers win fights. One Aloe would struggle quite a lot, I think, killing a Stego. But that's mainly because the Stego is going to be forcing trades, or trying to force trades as much as possible. And let's be honest, you cannot just trade with a Stego on an Aloe. You just can't. Not alone, at least, but 2 aloes can at least, you know, just take hits and take turns on taking damage and dealing damage. So that was very fun, wasn't it? They pretty much just face tanked my tail and killed me because I'm a speed Stego and I'm very, very, very squishy now for how easy I am to hit. So now knowing what to expect this time, I went back and I went for another go, of course. Of course, they did start off with the Sarah at first, just to, like, whittle me down. Maybe the aloes were not ready yet, maybe not fully healed up. Then again, it did take me about 5, maybe 10 minutes at most to get here. Mainly because I was trying to do some quests along the way as well, so you know how long that kind of takes. Thankfully, I have been able to just trade very well with this Sarah, but, you know, they're not really here to try and do tons of damage alone. They're more here just to try and get me to use any sort of stamina they can. And there's the bird making all the noise to let the aloes know where I am. That was the most patchy-like move I have ever seen a Sarah do. I'm impressed. Add some Doom music and maybe they can be licensed as a patchy main. So now I am going to try and use a better area to try and fight these guys, because they do know what they're doing. They have probably thought this through in terms of how they play, and probably have had quite a bit of practice doing this today. I will say for sure that I am having a much easier time with this little spot here, just because of the tight spaces forcing them into trades, but still, they aren't really trying to avoid damage, they're more just face tanking my tail and trying to deal damage. But so long as they keep me moving, sprinting around, and while still applying bleed, they're pretty much getting free damage. They can rest off the bleed while the Sarahs keep me running around, avoiding their charge bite. Example right here. I'm gonna crouch and boom. The charge bite has started. And now at this point they are pretty much just trying to keep me moving, just to keep me bleeding. They may think I have more bleed on me than I actually do, but still. Usually crouching is enough to get them a little bit excited to, jump in and try and get some damage. Sadly, I didn't hear the Sarah there, so, that's a lot of damage they did once again. And now, at around this point, they seem to be just comfortable enough to just face tank my tail. I guess they just want to try and chip me down as low as possible and maybe just let the Sarah finish me off, which I gotta say is, it's quite smart. But it's just a pain in the ass for solo players. In why I say I don't care about mix packing. Numbers or the amount of players have more of an effect than the dinos that are used, in my opinion. The new changes to the maps are actually quite nice. I like them. The new tints to different zones, and like they ended up cutting Green Hills in half pretty much and placing birch woods there. It adds another environment in which my Stego can actually do well in. Look at all these trees. But now if you want to see something that actually does annoy me, look no further than this clip, pretty much. I have pretty much been spotted by a group of albs, and then I think there's one or two styes in there, and well, yeah, they've just been traveling around going after everything, because I guess they just want to do that. My annoyance here is how fast they are able to do that. Look at that damage off of just the alb. That is crazy damage. And they can pretty much just trade with me for, because they have numbers. Even the Styrak, it did a lot of damage for its charge, despite being very much lighter, but then also almost completely maxing out the bleed cap on me, just from a charge. If they did a headbutt afterwards, it would be maxed out. Whereas now, the Albs are just charging in, running out, which is pretty smart, because I can't catch them and I'm just still bleeding. The Styrak can just trade as well, just trade a hit and add more bleed to me if the Albs ever get low. This kill they got on me took less than a minute to do. I think that is just absolutely insane. As I've said before, as long as you've got enough people, you can just keep throwing yourself at whatever you want dead until it dies, and just take turns. Eventually, because you just have more effective health overall. And, of course, anything with charge attacks really can just do that now. And, well, they have always been able to, but with the armor hide nerfs now, it is an absolute nightmare for solo players. And with these new bleed changes, I have noticed a lot more Styraks, and they all seem to be just aggro as hell. I'm guessing right now that they are going to be the new patches or the new albs of how, what used to be back in the older updates at least. But yeah, you remember that group that killed me with the albs and styes? Well, of course, I ran into them in Savannah on my way back. Because of course. What are the odds, eh? And this time, they haven't got any obstacles to just, get in their way, maybe cancel a charge or two. They can all just take turns in an open field, just open angles, just to do what they want, and I have no stamina to even really combat them. Of all the directions they could have gone, they had to have gone straight where I am coming from after dying to them. That you can't make it up, can you? Really? It's that is a Path of Titans moment ever. And of course, yeah, they just charge in, run out, charge in, run out, take turns. Can't blame them. It's just smart play, really. They're getting what they want. It's just really rough for solo players. I do think now, though, I am going to be changing my speed Stego into either a balanced Stego or a defense Stego, maybe. Because they've kind of just nerfed the stamina and nerfed the armor. So it's just struggling right now. It really is struggling. Especially with the strange cooldown on its tail attack as well. Oh well. This was actually surprisingly fun to make. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!